B-Marsh Boxing, what's happening, world? Breakdown and prediction. WBA, IBF, excuse me, WBC, IBF. Welterweight unification fight between Shawn Porter, 30-2, one draw, 17 KOs. WBC champion versus Errol the True Spence, 25-0, 21 KOs. Now, before I start this video, I'm gonna let it be known this fight will definitely be more competitive than Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. Believe that. You know what I mean? The man Errol Spence, he's been the uncrowned welterweight champion ever since he basically beat Kell Brook. You know what I mean? A lot of people have regarded him as the number one welterweight on the planet. This was even when Keith Thurman had two belts. People still considered the man Errol Spence to be the best of the best, the cream of the crop at welterweight. Terrence Crawford got into the picture. Now there's a debate. Some fans think it's vice versa, that Bud Crawford's the best of the best. Some people still consider Errol Spence. I still consider them title holders, but up until somebody unifies, that's when I'll give them the edge as far as where they should be ranked as the best welterweights on the planet. But that doesn't mean a no stretch of the imagination that just because you ranked as the best that you are the best. You know what I mean? Especially if you haven't fought everybody. So this is going to be a very good fight. Very good fight. Big up to Fox pay-per-view for putting on this welterweight unification. A lot of people say, "Oh, the PBC don't do unifications. PBC this, PBC that." Well, since PBC's inception in 2015, nobody, and I repeat, nobody, no network, no broadcaster, no promoter has put on more unifications than the PBC and Al Heyman's outfit. If you don't believe me, try me. That's all I gotta say. I have evidence to support that fact right here on my channel. You know what I mean? So there's some naysayers who keep piling on and hating on the man Errol Spence right about now, even though the man Errol Spence is in a unification. You know what I mean? So my advice to all these boxers: don't never worry about what a YouTuber says, because that's all they are. A YouTuber who sits on their couch or sits in their corner with their laptop doing whatever they do, just talking shit. You know what I mean? So let's get into this breakdown and prediction. Errol Spence, I believe, is a taller fighter with the longer reach. I think he's like 5'7", about 72.5 inch reach. Excuse me, 5'9", 72.5 inch reach, while the man Shawn Porter's about 5'7", maybe 69 inch reach. So the reach and height advantage goes in favor of the man Errol Spence. As far as mass and weight and girth, to me, I don't think there'll be any difference as far as who's the bigger guy. Obviously, you might be Shawn Porter. I'm sorry, Errol Spence because of height. But as far as physicality and everything, I think this is an evenly matched fight. Never forget guys like Shawn Porter have fought at middleweight in the amateurs. He's fought guys even as guys who are in the heavyweight divisions right now, like Alexander Usyk. They fought in the amateurs. He's fought the Danny Jacobs of the world. So Shawn Porter is not no slim dude. I'm sorry, he's not no little dude. You know what I mean? He's definitely gonna be in there feeling comfortable in his weight and in his skin going in there against Shawn Porter. I'm sorry, Errol Spence. So keys to victory for the man Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter, look, man, I think if he tries to outbox a man like he did, like he tried to do versus Ugas, I think it's gonna be he gonna lose because he tried to employ a new boxing style when he faced Ugas. You know what I mean? And I personally thought he lost that fight. Whether he won or not, or close, or if you had Shawn Porter barely, ultimately, he tried a new style against a guy like Ugas. And Ugas is not a world class fighter, but he's not a straight scrub neither, you know what I mean? I actually respect his boxing skills. I think he's a bronze medalist in the Olympics, so he definitely has the amateur pedigree, you know what I mean? As far as a professional, he's done okay for himself. Suffering a lot of major setbacks at 140, but at 147, since he came on the PBC, he's held his own and arguably should be the WBC champion right now as I speak, you know what I mean? At 147. But that's neither here nor there. The man Shawn Porter employed a lot of lateral movement, all right? And that's going to be good as far as facing the man Errol Spence because I believe Errol Spence will be on the front foot, you know what I mean? Errol Spence, when he fought Mikey Garcia, he basically showed us he can box from the outside, keep a guy at the end of his jab, a la Terrence Crawford, He probably watched some Terrence Crawford film and said, I want to try to emulate what he's doing right now with his opponents, as far as, boxing them for the most part and looking for opportunities to stop them. And it looked like that's what Errol Spence was planning on doing in the ninth and the 10th round when he was going for the gusto, going for the kill and trying to ice the man Mikey Garcia. But he held back. Maybe he was afraid of some counter shots, and eventually the fight went the distance. You know what I mean? But this fight right here with Shawn Porter is going to have to use a lot of lateral movement, but then he's also going to have to set traps for the man Errol Spence. You know what I mean? I believe if this fight is fought in the center of the ring, both guys flat-footed, looking for opportunities. I think Errol Spence has the opportunity, as he's been trying to say he will do. He says he will KO in Shawn Porter, and I believe he will if the fight is just fought straight up and down in the middle of the center of the ring. Not much lateral movement from both guys, just straight up a bang fest. You know what I mean? Like a slugfest. And I don't think that's what Errol Spence wants to do. And I think that's why he started trying to work on his lateral movement in the Ugas fight to prepare him for future unification with Errol Spence. You know what I mean? So, but Shawn Porter isn't a great counterpuncher. Okay, he has a decent jab. His jab is decent. But at the end of the day, he's also gonna have to keep some shots off of the man Errol Spence because Errol Spence will be on the front foot, cutting off the ring, stalking his opponent, and unleashing body shots. And I think that's what Errol Spence has to do to slow down that lateral movement and try to keep this fight on some flat-footed shit in the center of the ring where the man Errol Spence doesn't have to do too much cutting off the ring where he can let his hands go and hopefully, and for his sake, find the target. You know what I mean? I believe Errol Spence will try out box his opponent um, whenever he catches him in positions where the man Shawn Porter is, trying to outbox as well. You know what I mean? Using his jab, and that's when he's not going to be on his lateral movement. You know what I mean? But I just think Errol Spence jab will reach quicker, and his left hand, left hooks to the body, and right hooks to the head, I think will he possibly might drop the man Shawn Porter at least twice in this fight. You know what I mean? As far as stopping him, I don't think Shawn Porter's pride will allow that. You know what I'm saying? Unless he wants to go bang out. I think he tried to go all out versus Keith Thurman, and he took some mean left hooks, got wobbled, did a stanky leg, but still was on his feet. I think that's because he has a lot of familiarity with Keith Thurman as far as sparring. Now Keith Thurman and I'm sorry, Errol Spence and Shawn Porter have sparred as well together, but I think Shawn Porter definitely respects Errol Spence's power more than Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman he can knock out lower tier opponents, but the top tier opponents, it's evident he can't. He can't. He couldn't even knock out Robert the Ghost Guerrero, who came who came from as low as 126 pounds, a featherweight. You know what I mean? Now, Errol Spence, he's going to have to stay on the front foot. He's going to have to pump his jab and just methodically and systematically break down Shawn Porter. But he has to employ the body movement because, from what I foresee happening, as far as Shawn Porter, I see Shawn Porter doing a lot of movement. You know what I'm saying? And trying to make the man Errol Spence get frustrated. You know what I mean? But I think this fight will be competitive, and Shawn Porter will win some rounds. You know what I mean? I think Errol Spence probably won't not will probably go the distance, but I probably see at least two knockdowns. You know what I mean? Shawn Porter will make it competitive, and is keys to victory as far as winning rounds, and it's just a matter of can he win 7 rounds. You know what I'm saying? As if he stops in his tracks and bangs and can probably catch the man Sean Porter, sorry, Errol Spence with a shot that he doesn't see coming. If he can do that and stun the man, or at least have him on the ropes and go all Tasmanian devil ape shit on him, he can win rounds that way. You know what I mean? So I'm sure Sean Porter will be stuck in between two worlds to try out box him, be on his lateral movement, or stand in the pocket and try to bang. You know what I mean? But if he does that, he's also going to leave himself open to getting caught with some shots, and that's why I do think he might hit the canvas a couple times. You know what I mean? But I think the keys to victory for Errol Spence is just to keep the pressure on him, cut off the ring, throw the body shots to slow down his lateral movement. You know what I'm saying? Use his jab, to basically. You see how Andy Ruiz was when he fought Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua would pump out that weak ass jab, and Sean Porter, I'm sorry, Andy Ruiz was basically punching his hand. He was punching his hand as he extended it for a jab. Basically knocking it out of position. That's what Errol Spence gonna have to do, because their jabs gonna both be coming from the same trajectory and from the same side. You know what I mean? You check it, Southpaw versus Orthodox fighter, and don't be surprised if Sean Porter tries to get on the inside, tries to make it dirty, because he says he will cut the man Errol Spence. You know what I mean? Errol Spence has to be very wary and cautious of that. You know what I'm saying? Does he want to get? He really doesn't want the man Sean Porter to get on the inside, and that's why he got to be consistently pumping that jab. Whenever Sean Porter tries to throw his jab, Errol got to punch his hand out the way or just counter over the top to catch the man Sean Porter. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a difficult task, but I do believe this unification will go in favor of the man Errol Spence. I believe Errol Spence gonna come out victorious, probably win a close fight, 7 rounds to 5, as far as the rounds, maybe 8 rounds to 4. But the margin of the scorecard will be a little wider because I do see a couple knockdowns happening. You know what I mean? So I probably got this fight going to 115, 111, 7 rounds to 5, couple knockdowns, and that about it. B Marsh Boxing. What's up, Anthony Purvis? What the deal, man? Anthony Purvis in the chat says, "What's up, B Marsh? I've been waiting on your breakdown, bro. I seen Spence Jr. by UD with a knockdown and a point deduction from Porter for rapid punching or headbutts." That's a good point you made, man. I definitely see. I agree with you. I got Spence winning a unanimous decision too. And a couple knockdowns, and you might have a point as far as the dirty tactics, probably get points deducted for headbutts, rabbit punches. But that's why I was saying before I read your comment that Errol Spence got to, by all means, keep this man on the outside. That's the only way Sean Porter will have any chance of doing any damages if he gets on the inside. You know what I mean? I think the man Errol Spence got to have that left hand ready, locked and loaded, and cocked to straight up decapitate him when Sean Porter's trying to come in with those headbutts and Tasmanian devil style tactics. And I think the uppercut will be a sweet remedy to keep the man honest, you know what I mean? And think of twice if he wants to come in charging with his head like that, you know what I'm saying? So we shall see, but I got Errol's dispense. I got Errol's, excuse me. Sorry, it's early in the morning. I got Errol Spence Jr. coming out victorious, you know what I'm saying? And unifying the WBC and the WBA and the IBF belt. And I personally would like to see just the winner of this fight, Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence, to face Bud Crawford next. You know what I mean? Ultimately, that's what it should be. And the winner of the fight between the winner of Shawn Porter and Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford, maybe they could hit the jackpot and get a Manny Pacquiao fight. As far as Errol Spence keep talking about Manny Pacquiao, I think Manny Pacquiao should stay the fuck away from that guy Errol Spence. It's gonna get mashed up, you know what I mean? It's gonna get mashed up and broke up, you know what I mean? And that's not what he wants right now in this stage of his career, you know what I'm saying? Pacquiao don't need none of these guys. Pacquiao could make a fight with anybody. Lomachenko, Mikey Garcia, guys his size more, and still make a killing. You know, as far as Pacquiao, he didn't fight Bud Crawford, and that's fine with me. That's fine with me, you know. But I really want to see Spence versus Bud Crawford. I respect the man at top. Bud Crawford never cried or yapped or made a big deal about not fighting Pacquiao because Pacquiao did dock him. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Errol Spence needs to leave Pacquiao alone and needs to fight and chase and try to make fights with his own peers. Leave that 40-year-old senator alone. You know what I'm saying? The casuals in the world who don't really follow boxing might think it's a great accomplishment. You know what I mean? Beating Pacquiao, but at this stage of his career, you know, it's really like a Hector Camacho versus Ray Leonard type of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, Manny Pacquiao ain't been out the ring for 6.5, 7 years like uh like Ray Leonard did when he came back to fight Hector Camacho. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I think the man Errol Spence has his own peers to worry about. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He wants to become a household name. He can do that by beating the rest of his division till there's nobody left standing besides Pacquiao. And if Pacquiao won't go out in his last fight of his career fighting Errol Spence, so be it. I personally would have liked Pacquiao to retire right now. But time will tell, you know what I mean? But the way Errol Spence is so adamant chasing Pacquiao and talking about Pacquiao after, I'm not too impressed with all that mumbo jumbo because Bud Crawford is out there with no opponents. You know what I mean? Errol Spence, if he does beat Shawn Porter, should have leverage in negotiations and, um, you know, as far as who's the A side, because he's going to have two belts. But Crawford will not have faced the type of opposition that Shawn Porter, I'm sorry, Errol Spence would have faced if he does claim those two belts. So hopefully that's what we can see next. And that's my breakdown and prediction. Leave your thoughts and comments. We March Boxing. If you're new to the channel, please share and subscribe and let me know in the comment section who do you have winning this fight. Unrivaled Boxing Talking News. What's happening, dogs? How you feeling, man? All is well, my friend. Just giving a breakdown and prediction, you know what I mean? And let me know in the comment section what y'all think and who you think is going to win this particular fight. Looking forward to it on pay-per-view. Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence, a unification. And I've heard some people try to say this is like a Tommy Hearns versus Ray Leonard thing. I highly doubt it. If this is a Tommy Hearns versus Ray Leonard incarnation, what's Terrence Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence? What's that gonna be? You know what I mean? You know, I do understand those are great welterweight fights of their era. You know, but I don't see this as a Tommy Hearns versus Ray Leonard situation. You know what I mean? Yes, there's two belts. It's a unification. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think for the most part, Errol Spence is a. I haven't looked at the odds, but from people's conversations and YouTube videos, he is the overwhelming favorite. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what the odds were for Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns in 1980 or 81, but I think they were a bit closer than this fight. You heard? Um, Unrivaled Boxing Talk says I got Spence UD. So do I. I got Spence by UD with probably a couple knockdowns in the process. You know what I mean? Sort of something. You know, the two knockdowns, it would probably the margin of the scorecard is going to be a lot wider than a 115, 113. But that's what I see. I think Shawn Porter could get four to five rounds under his belt. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough. He's going to have to get the best 4 to 5 rounds of his life, but I think he's capable of winning some rounds because I think it'll be more competitive for sure than Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence. Marsh Boxing, big up to Unrivaled, Anthony Purvis, and I'm out of here. Leave your thoughts and comments, and I'm gone. Peace.